I'm Alan Spears with Occupy Democrats, and making the rounds online today, an interview that the former president Donald Trump gave with Time magazine. In this interview, Trump says the quiet part out loud. A second Trump presidency will be the end of our democracy. This is neither hyperbole nor exaggeration. These are the words of the former president saying what he would do in his second term in office. I want you to take a look at this clip coming up, and I want you to understand just how serious and just how dangerous this man's words are. If this man steps inside of the White House once more, he's not going to leave. Take a look.
Donald Trump could shout it into a megaphone in the middle of Times Square, and it wouldn't be any more obvious than it is right now that if he is elected to serve a second term as president, he plans out loud to drag our country into a dark new era, a place we've never been before, more closely resembling authoritarianism. And at this point, you don't have to take our word for it. You could take his. In an on-the-record conversation with reporters at Time magazine, newly published this week, the disgraced ex-president doesn't play coy about his appetite for autocratic practices and policies. He's proud of it. It's what he is running on. He road-mapped it out right in the open. He would deploy the military to carry out mass deportations of 11 million people. He would allow red states to monitor pregnant women. He would withhold money appropriated by Congress, firing U.S. attorneys who failed to carry out his orders. And he would pardon at least some of the rioters who attacked the United States Capitol. And this is the domestic bucket. For him, it's all on the table, again, out in the open. From that Time interview, quote, "Every election is billed as a national turning point. This time, that rings true. To supporters, the prospect of Trump 2.0, unconstrained and backed by a disciplined movement of true believers, offers revolutionary promise. To much of the rest of the nation and the world, it represents an alarming risk. A second Trump term could bring the end of our democracy," says presidential historian Douglas Brinkley, "and the birth of a new kind of authoritarian presidential order."
I am sick and tired of this authoritarian, of his behavior somehow being construed as patriotic. It's not. I need Donald Trump's supporters and his base to understand that what he just said in this Time magazine interview, what he has said about using the military, about exerting his power and will over the country, that is not patriotic. That is not American. Every single alarm bell should be sounding off in your head right now. I know it's been said before, but this is absolutely how it starts. This is how a democracy is replaced with an authoritarian regime. This is a man who has said point blank, if these attorneys do not carry out his will, they'll be fired, or worse. He's not going to save this country. He's not going to serve it well. He is only interested in his own ambitions and ends. I so desperately wish that his base could see through this facade. So many of them have just been taken in by this charlatan. I promise you, this man doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about you, your job, your work ethic, your religious beliefs. He doesn't care about you. He's using you. His ego only allows him to care about himself and the money he makes. Ask yourself this, please. Has there ever been a point in history where one person has ascended to complete and total power, used the military as their own personal enforcement, stripped the rights away of its citizens, and been the good guys? Supporting this man or his cause is not being a patriot. Being patriotic is looking at your country, seeing the good that it does, and being proud of that, but also having the courage to see the bad and stand up and demand better. We all deserve better than Donald Trump.